So I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to do the machine, me and my girlfriend, and let's jump into it. First of all, we'll start with nmap scan. I've created a directory here, and I am in my tmux directory. Let's first find the machine. I hosted it into a NAT adapter in my VMware, and I'm guessing this is the IP. Let's start with that. First of all, we'll do a common -a, which tries and goes in the front and tries to find out the most common port, and it performs some other functions as well. It tries to find out the operating system you are currently using and stuff like that. So currently we have this. So with this, let's add a -b here. So it does a full port scan. Let's say we don't want to miss anything. So let's first try and SSH onto that and see if we have anything interesting. By default it'll go to root, obviously, but okay, so the banner doesn't have anything for us, and judging from the version it is 6.6.1. Let's just do a quick search about it. Okay, so we have here 6.6 SFTP command execution. Let's see. Okay, that is for secure file transfer. This. Let's just continue. The port ID we have here, and let's first go and browse it a little bit and try to know. Okay, so it says we can only access it from localhost. Let's try and check its source code. So it says maybe you can search how to use X forwarded for header. Yeah, we can try and include that in the code request. We can do -h. I think that would be localhost. And then we'll be doing the request on the URL. Okay, it says page 302 found. So actually what I have here is, I think I installed an extension to modify my headers, but I think with the latest update it got removed. So we can just do mod header Firefox. You can use that extension, or you can use any other way to send this header while making any request to this host, and we'll be able to access at the internal website. So let's add it to Firefox. That might take a little bit of time. Okay, so it's added. Got it. And now we want to add that header, which is X forwarded for, and the value is localhost. Now let's try and access it. Okay, so we are in. It says it's finding the people to create again, and this kind of looks like Vulnhub init machine. Kind of, so if we try to access etc password, it's not possible. Sorry, my bad. Okay, I don't think so there is any LFI here. Let's try and use a base64 encoded one. LFI base64 encode wrapper. Okay, we can use this and try to encode the file which we are going to read. It is an extra PHP in this case, and if I do it. Okay, so nothing really changes. So I'm guessing this is kind of supposed to give you an idea that there's LFI here, but it actually isn't. So it's good that we interacted a little bit. So we have the login, we have register, and we have our about page. So in register, let's try to register as admin. If that works, and I hope it works, the credentials are something like this. So let's try and log in. Okay, so we are logged in, and in our profile we can try and change our name, username, and password. And something interesting right here, let me close the tabs. right here is that there's a ID being passed for our user. So let's try and try ID1 if that works. Okay, sorry, that was. And if you look at it, we have this user right here with this username, and if we keep enumerating that, let me try 13. Okay, I think the users are only till 12. So now what we can do is let's take a look at the page source. We have this over here with these values. This is the password I set here. So now what we can do is we can write a script, a Python script, which I'll prefer rather than opening each and every one of these, going into the source and grabbing the credentials manually. Let's write a script which will automate this process. And let me come in here and do automate this. I really don't have anything in my mind. It's the name, so we'll be getting this. So let's import request, and let's say our URL which we're going to make the request is this. We'll be doing a for loop. Sorry, I'm writing it kind of rough, so don't mind that. Let's make it 20. We'll do for 1 to 20 and print the integer here with strx, right? So if we print the URL, that will print all of this, right? So we want to make requests to all of this. So something we have to do is we have to grab our cookies if we want to make the request. So we can just do a refresh, come in here, and we can find the cookie here. So let's just copy this. We are going to pass this header and that x forwarded header while doing this. So we can just make header, we can do cookie, and the value is this, and then we can add the other header which is forwarded for, and then we have the value localhost here, right? So let me try and create a request to that if that works. And I am a guy who likes to indent his code like this, I don't know why. So request.get URL, and let's pass the headers. We can pass the headers using this additional argument here, and here is the value. So we have this. Now what we can do is we can say source is equal to request.text.encode, or we can just say text. Let's try and print out the source and see if that works. Okay, so it literally printed out the values for, I guess, all users, right? So now what we gotta do is we gotta just grab this username and then this password. So we can use beautiful soup for the parsing. What we can do is we can do from BS4 import beautiful soup, and then pass the source code we have here to let's say soup, and then we'll say beautiful soup and the source, which is the HTML content we get. And for the parser you can use LXML, but I prefer the built-in which comes with BS4, that is HTML.parser. And then let's try and print, let's see how it looks like. It removes the indentation and stuff. Okay, yeah, it did. So because I am working on a virtual machine, that's why these requests are so fast. If you're doing it through a VPN, or let's say on a hack the box machine, it would take some time. So let me see if we are still recording, and I guess yes we are. That's fine. Okay, so what we are going to do is we're going to parse those input values. So we can say inputs is equal to soup.find all. You can say all the input tags, and then let's say if there's a unique identifier here. It says name is password and name is username. I think we can utilize that, right? If I say name, username, and if I try and print the inputs, does that work? I mean, it should. Okay, yeah, we have all of the what we can do is you can pass argument and then its value, HTML attribute and then its value, and try to find all the tags matching that. But in this case, and didn't print that. That's kind of strange. Let's try and just print all input tags we fetched. Okay, so there are two of these. We can maybe try and pass ID here, ID username, and then ID password. Maybe that might work. That's kind of weird. Let's say I want ID password here, and I only want to print the values having passwords. Okay, it's working now. I don't know what was the issue before. So now what we can do is we can just say 0. So we want from the list, we want the first element, and in this case it is this, so it'll print all of those, and then we want to select the value. So what Beautiful Soup allows you to do is you can just select attributes from here. You can do value and you will have that value. Here we are. So let's create a list and append those. We can do a username and password. So first we have the password, and then we can have the username. Let's keep it over here, and I think just changing the ID here will work, and we'll have our username and password printed in a tuple. So let's just see if it's working. Okay, it's working. So here's empty. We really don't need these. So what we can do is we can do a filter based on their length. We can say if length of the username is essentially equal to 0, just print is not equal to 0. We want all the usernames which aren't equal to 0. So we just copy those usernames, and then we can do the same with the password, right? And here we have those tuples. So what we can do is we can create two different files with usernames and passwords. So we can either use Metasploit or some other, we can utilize Hydra to brute force that, but I'll be using Metasploit. So what we can do is with open, we are in a loop though. I would really not recommend it, but since we are doing patches and stuff, let's just do it. We have the username.txt as a plus as f, let's say f dot write the username and need drawing character. The same goes for the passwords, right? We want to have those there as well, so that would be password, and in here it would be passwords. We don't have to check the length for that because essentially these both will be same. So if I run the script now, we'll have two different files of the same line numbers. If I just do this, I have usernames and passwords, so they both match. Now we can use Metasploit, and we can try and brute force our way. It is just one of the gestures that you can you have other users' credentials. You can try those in here. You can log out and see if some a new feature pops out of nowhere. But for now, let's not do that. I have already tried that. So coming back to it, I think we have Metasploit here, and search SSH login for 22. So we have this over here. This is just an additional filter. This is really a helpful one that you can search exploits or auxiliary modules or anything in Metasploit based on ports. So let's use this auxiliary module, and we have the user file, that would be this, and then the pass file, that would be this, and then the host is 130, and then the I want to set the threads to 10, and let's set our post if that doesn't work. In case, let's set exploit to true, and let's see if that works. If it does not, we will have to come here, but I think it will, since yeah, I did it. Okay, so we are done with the scanning of SSH with those credentials, and eventually one of that worked. Yes, nice. So now you can do one of two things. You can interact with this shell over here, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy those credentials in here, and I'm going to try those as Alice user, and I'm going to discard Metasploit since I don't want it, and let's do SSH Alice and the machine, and then give the password. So here we are, and let's do a ID. We are Alice. Can we read? Can we modify anything? Just a few checks before we jump on to Vulnhub or anything else. Okay, let's just do a quick search for all the SUID binaries. If there is one, I am really interested to see that. Okay, there is an interesting one here, and we have this over here. Okay, so the kernel is really latest, so what we can do is we can just get in here. Sorry for the bad spellings, and here we are. We can copy this raw version. We can, so something I would like to tell you, which is really cool, is you can do Control A, Control C, and copy whole content. In an interactive shell, you can write into files like this. You can do this, and I will say lin.sh. Now we have all this space to ourselves. I will copy whatever I did. I will paste that whatever I copied before using Control Shift V, and then when you type Control D, it would send a EOF or end of file, and that would eventually end the file. And now we have that. You really don't have to use duplicate. In case you are stuck with, you can transfer big files, you have to do something else. This is a really cool method and saves you literally too much time. So let's run it. First I will run it with the normal version, and then we'll go to the verbose one or the Doro one. So starting from the very start, what we have here, the version is 14.04, but the kernel is latest, so I don't think so. It's not that much latest though. I think there is one kernel exploit based on this one, but we'll keep this as our last card. Let's just scroll down and see if there's anything else. Oh shit, my bad. We have user bin PHP, which we can use as sudo as user root with no password, and this is the binary which we can call with sudo. So now what I can do is I will just run this, and since I know that you have to go into an interactive mode, which is this, so I can just do -a, and let's try system in bash. I don't think so that will work, but see if that does. Okay, cool. That way again we have an interactive shell, and we are root, so we have here our secret, and then okay, we are in the same directory here, so we just gotta go into root and export our home directory to be the directory we're currently in. So now if I do an export, and we have our directory in here, and we are in the root directory, and this is the flag of the machine. So I hope it was a good learning video for you. This is my first one, so I will try to I hope when I will see it after I made it, I hope it was good. So thank you very much for watching. Take care.